How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. While you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. How do you cut an ocean in half? You use a seesaw. Get it? The sea, the water, or something. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN, which was able to close above $6. We talked about how this was a psychological area, so this is the reason why this close is very important for the stock. I'm going to talk further about some other levels you want to keep an eye on, so I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because the short interest has an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what the buying and the selling behavior was like on the institutional side and the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $6.03, being up 1.01%. On the low, it tested $5.80, and then on the high, testing $6.13. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you could see we traded at 8.66 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 15.79 million shares. So what we could see right away, we did have well below the average in regards to volume, but we saw some strength inside of the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 38.51. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, you can see we're below the 50-day, the 200-day, the 100-day, and the 21-day EMA. And we already established that OCGN is in a bear market. But one thing that I want to point out, yesterday we ended up testing a low into the $5.40 range. And now for today, we ended up testing a low of $5.80. So this is what you want to see, increasing levels of support. So as far as going into tomorrow, I would love to see us reach a high of $6.37, and then of course seeing where we could go from there. We know that $6 was a psychological area for OCGN, and it being able to actually close above it does give us a bullish signal. So I'm expecting, if the markets are strong, let's see OCGN make that move going into the 630s, and then essentially I want to see how well it does around in the 650s. As far as for the bearish case scenario, if we decide to give up any gains for tomorrow, I would love to see us have some strength here right around the $5.50 level. If we're able to do that and we want to consolidate going into next week, it is still a good look for us, so we can look forward to getting back into that $6 range. But for the most part, I'm expecting great things from OCGN. Let's see how well it performs going into tomorrow. Let's take a look at the short interest information for OCGN. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it is at 39.55%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 2 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 200,000, updated 5 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.48%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 6th, it was at 49.88, and then for the close of the 7th, which was yesterday, being at 39.55. So as you can see, clearly there has been a reduction in the short interest, and this is exactly what we want to to have. But keep in mind, it still continues to have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons if we end up having a catalyst or any sort of news that could help OCGN, we could see some strong moves. And the strong move that we're looking for is to see if it can go back to reclaiming back to that $7 area. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we could see here on the inflow, it was at 10,915, and then on the outflow, it was at 12,212. So we ended up having an outflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, we had 0 on the large. On the medium, we had 7,217, and then on the small, we had 3,699. When we take a look at the outflow side, it was 1,394. When we take a look at the medium, it was 8,008, and then on the small, it was 2,810. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, December the 8th, it being that outflow of 1,394.27. And then when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. When we take a look at the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And of course, when we take a look at the large, you could see which could potentially represent institutions, we had more selling than we had buying. So one thing that was clear, retail did a great job moving this stock today. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, we could see it was at 4.40%. So this is not too bad for a stock like OCGN. We already know there's a lot of traders that are going into this play, and due to the fact it's had so much volatility, I'm not surprised with the outflows and amount of selling that has been happening. But one thing that is very clear, there is still demand, and the fact of the matter is we closed above $6. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, the key level I'm going to be looking out for, I want to see us test $6.37. We also have to pay attention to the fact that we are seeing increasing levels of support. We are seeing higher lows. Yesterday we ended up testing in the 540s, and then for today we ended up testing on the low in the 580s. So knowing this, we want to see this bullish trend actually continue, and this is why I want to see OCGN hitting the $7 level. Whether it's going to be this week or next week, that's a price target I'm looking out for. I already told you guys what it looks like in the bearish case scenario, but if we do end up having a pullback, I want to see some strength in the 560 to the 570 area, because I feel if we can hold that down, especially towards the end of this week, things can really start looking good for this stock. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So this is why I say, if we have a lot of buying pressure coming in, like we saw in the order flow, there is a lot of interest on the retail side, then we could see the stock move very well. And we know that it's also catalyst driven. We need that news. We need those updates to make sure investors continue to have confidence. As far as traders who are inside of this play, the volatility has been great, and there have been opportunities that you just cannot ignore, especially from a trading perspective. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how OCGN performs going into tomorrow.